with it being so vague. 500 people or less, you know who could end up in there? Money managers, hedge funds, law firms, DC lobbying firms, you name it. And so there's a very big risk here that you could see those who have professional tax consultants and lawyers to shimmy them to the front of this list because it's $350 billion. And when it runs out, we don't know if there's anyone after. This thing is first come, first serve. So now that this thing is in play, there's a lot of risks that it could get gamed. And imagine if it didn't get to those businesses in need. You and I both know there are businesses hurting.
Sure. Well, Stephanie, you've been doing some of the fact-checking as well. Every day there's so much flying at everyone. It's hard to keep track. This was technically yesterday's briefing, but I know you have been separating the spin from the facts. So take a quick look at Steve Mnuchin so you can tell us what's true. Here we go.
I encourage all small businesses that have 500 or fewer people, please contact your lenders. Any FDIC institution will be able to do this, any credit union, existing SBA lenders, and fintech lenders. You get the money, you'll get it the same day.
Stephanie?
I'm going to go with a no to that. First of all, let's start with this. He said any business that's that a small business, 500 people or less, call any FDIC bank. I'm going to start with a no. You can't just call any bank. Banks are highly regulated, okay? You know this. They are filled with lawyers, compliance departments, right? Anti-money laundering rules, know your client rules are huge. And there are no bad actors here. Congress, Treasury, these banks, they all want to try to help people. But if banks are suddenly processing loans for people they know nothing about, that they haven't done their due diligence on, then the Treasury isn't going to make them whole. Or even worse, 2 years from now, when the regulators come in and they say, okay, Bank of America and Chase, I'm going to need you to detail all of these people that you extended these loans to. Who were they? Were their businesses real? These banks would get major fines. They could lose their licenses. But the problem is, Secretary Mnuchin, while he may have the best of intentions, is standing up there like Oprah Winfrey, you get a car, you get a car. And that is giving these small businesses a tremendous amount of false hope when they're in a state of panic.
Yeah, because you get a car is way less exciting if in the end you don't get a car.
Correct. You get a car isn't... You're going to need to call your existing bank, and then you're going to need to show your payroll receipts. And technically, you can't actually spend the money on anything. It needs to go to X, Y, or Z. So we need to be upfront because right now, transparency and security is everything. People are scared. Their businesses are their livelihood.
Yeah, you lay it out.
And I ask you, Ari,
go ahead.
when Secretary Mnuchin says, I want to ask you, when Secretary Mnuchin says any business with 500 people or less call an FDIC-insured bank, do you not think that is an invitation for fraud? You're going to see lots of businesses that haven't really been affected or don't really need the money say, sure, we're giving out free money, I'm on board. That's not the intention of this.
Stephanie, you put it so clearly because this is where that tendency, which comes from the top, from the president on down, to try to say anything and spin anything to sound better than it is, rather than give people the precise information they need, whether it's for their health or keeping a small business afloat or the rest. So you put it well. That's why even though this was technically yesterday's briefing, we wanted to get your fact check in. I'm running out of time. I will tell you, you remember young Jeezy. He's on later this hour. I will tell him you said hi if you want.
Send him my best.
I will.
I mean, you had Charlemagne on last night. That's my fave, but...
Charlemagne's incredible. He was on with Dr. Emmanuel, and he said he's religious. He said he believes in GOD, but he's listening to CDC.
CDC. Charlemagne, he's a Jersey guy, just like me.
Shout out to New Jersey. Stephanie Ruhle, thank you as always. We'll be calling on you again soon. I'm going to fit in a break, but when we come back, a New York